Om. Namaste. Hope all are happy. Today we are going to discuss some events which have links with other events. What is the reason? Why such things happen? Let us meditate and find out to the knowledge of our third eye. Let us find out from our third eye what could be the reasons for such kind of events. What could be the link we can link for such events through our third eye individually. There was a very rich business person by name Mahavatar. Mahavatar also means different reasons are given, but what I understand Mahavatar means the person who has no blemish, the person who is so pure. Though he is a highly rich, wealthiest businessman, almost equal to double the size of the ruling kings. Mahavatar had a son who was around 16 years, who was married to a very beautiful girl, a daughter of another businessman and a ship captain. That person's name was Manayakan. Both are very rich. Being the captain of the ship as well as the businessman, he was also wealthy. Both were doing procuring and selling of high quality gems. All those which came from the sea, all those which came from the land, all were dumped in their possession, and they were the main suppliers to the kings of various countries around the world. The place where I am referring is today under the sea. It is not existing. Incidentally, my father informed me that our forefathers also came from that place only. Around 2000 years ago or 2300 years ago, that place was washed away in the tsunami in the Tamil Nadu coast. After the marriage of Mahavatar's son and Manayakan's daughter, the husband and wife were very happy because from both sides they were so rich. That being the case, they were equal to the nobles and they were equal to the kings, and always for any decisions they were invited by the kings for taking any kind of decisions. One of the days, the husband of a newlywed girl goes to the court of the king of that particular kingdom, where he encounters a dancer, a beautiful dancer. Looking at her beauty and dancing acumen and the messages being conveyed by her, he is totally engrossed in love or infatuation with that girl. Over a period of time, the infatuated husband builds up a relationship with that girl, the dancer, and all the days and all the nights he spends his time only with the dancer girl. He forgets his business, he doesn't listen to his parents, nor the father-in-law of the person is able to advise him. The wife, being most devout wife of that person, she never questions him. The days pass, the months pass and the years pass. The dancer girl has a mother who is so much greed. Every time he visits the dancer's house, the mother of the girl aims for the wealth being brought by this person. The wife of this person doesn't question anything. Whenever he comes and asks for the wealth, the jewels, the pearls, the other gemstones, gold coins, gold biscuits are the immovable properties. Wife never questions. A day comes, the person spends everything and becomes almost a pauper, becomes a poor person. During this interjection, there is a function being arranged to praise the Lord Indra. A situation is brought in that there is a rift between this girl and the wealthiest businessman who are in relationship with each other. The trick is played by the mother, and as a result, there is a discord between them, and he promises not to spend any time with her and comes to his original wife. The dancer's mother discards him because he is no more a wealthy person and there is no use in being with the dancer. However, the dancer is also a very pious lady, very dedicated to him. She is not lesser character in any way. Everything said and done, the relationship gets broken. He loses all the property, all the wealth, and he doesn't have face to go to his father, doesn't have face to face his father-in-law and mother-in-law. But the pious wife, the dedicated wife, provides him asylum and she accepts all his mistakes. She doesn't question anything. Now the name of the husband is Kovalan, the name of the wife is Kannagi, and name of the dancer is Madhavi. Now Kovalan, realizing all his mistakes, decides to leave the place where Kovalan and Kannagi were living was miles away from the seashore, a place called Puhar. This being on the shores of Kaveri river, it is also named as Kaveri Pumpattinam. This is the garden city of Kaveri. The city was flourishing like anything. It is said in that particular city, from all the continents, ships used to come, and once a ship came, not able to further move, unloads all the wealth which contained so much and so much of gems and jewelry. All these gems and jewelries were purchased by Kovalan's father. The city of Kaveri Pattinam or Kaveri Pumpattinam was divided into two parts. One part is named as Marur Pakam and another part is named as Pattinapakam. In Marur Pakam, all the ships will be docked there, and there was a harbor also with the busiest and all wealthiest business being taken out there. Whereas in Pattinapakam, the houses were with high-rise buildings, all noble men and kings and ministers were living. Such being the place, having lost all the properties, Kovalan and Kannagi do not want to stay in that particular place. They do not want to be questioned or no remarks shall fall on them. Taking a decision in this regard, both of them leave the city at midnight by walk. They do not have any property with them, just a bundle of clothing. They leave the city overnight, and after many days of journey by walk, in the disguise, they reach a place called Madurai, that is today's Tamil Nadu, Madurai. Having reached the city of Madurai, looking at the grandeur of the richness of Madurai and its temples and its wealthiest businessmen, they do not know what to do. They had only one asset with them. Kannagi was wearing a anklet in her legs made out of gold or silver. She gives one of the anklet to her husband, who takes it and approaches the chief jeweler of the royalty. At that time, the ruling king of Pandya kingdom was Nedunjaliyan I. It was around 230 BC or so. Having approached the chief jeweler or the chief goldsmith of the royalty, he hands over one of the anklets, and the chief goldsmith assures him that he will give it to the king and he will get him the best price out of that. Kannagi and Kovalan's idea was to fetch some money and start a humble business. But before embarking on selling the anklet, Kovalan sends words to his father about the situation and his plans to recoup his position and to rejuvenate his business from the scratch. Kannagi remains at home. Kovalan takes a walk and approaches the goldsmith. Goldsmith asks the person to wait outside so that he can approach the king and inform him. But here the goldsmith plays a trick and informs the king that the anklet of the queen, which was lost some time back, has been traced out, and a person who has come to him to sell it. Looking at the anklet, not verifying the antecedents, not verifying the fact of the matter, the king is taken by an anger, orders that Kovalan shall be beheaded. Within no time, Kovalan, without any enquiry, is taken to the punishment yard and is beheaded. The news spreads across the town. All people throng the punishment yard to see who is this person. When everybody is running towards the palace or the punishment yard, Kannagi also, being carried by the neighbors, who is new to that place, some punishment has been given in the royalty, please come with us. Giving such message, Kannagi also is carried. Looking at the body of her husband being beheaded, Kannagi is taken by a shock. She, being the chaste woman, being the purest of the pure, being one of the virtuous women, she straightaway walks into the courtyard of the king, and she goes with such a rage and shouting and crying. Immediately the king calls for the darbar or the assembly to be assembled, calls all the ministers. He wants to know what is the fact. She questions the decision of the king. When king says your husband has committed a very heinous crime of stealing the queen's anklet, she says, we never manufactured, or we have not come across having anybody manufactured such a kind of anklet for any kings to be worn by the queens. She orders the king, please bring your other anklet, which is in your possession, of which one is missing. I am having one with me in my leg. Let us check. When that is brought, and she throws the anklet of the king, in which Inside the anklet, pearls were decorated, whereas inner anklets, pure ruby and emerald, high valued gems are embedded inside. Looking at the scattered gemstones from the anklets of the virtuous woman, Kannagi's anklets, king realizes that he has committed a very heinous crime of giving a wrong judgment, and she questions the king, what authority you are sitting on the throne. Not able to answer to Kannagi, he slips from the throne and falls down and dies on the spot. Instantaneously, the king's wife, queen, also dies on the spot. Not happy with this one, Kannagi curses the entire Madurai city to be burnt. The entire city of Madurai starts burning. The scene is like how Hanuman burns the Lanka Patan. In the same way, the entire city is burning. Kannagi continues to curse the entire kingdom. The entire city has to be burnt into ashes. This is a curse she is about to give. But at that time, Madurai Meenakshi Devi appears before her and pacifies her anger. And by reducing her anger, Kannagi is shown the Swargaloka, and salvation is given to Kannagi because there is no meaning in Kannagi living after the death of her husband. Thereby, the Madurai city was saved from further damage. This particular story had been written like Ramayana in a very big epic called Silapadikaram. After Kannagi, even today in Kerala, in Tamil Nadu, in Sri Lanka, and Malaysia, and other Southeast Asian countries, Devi Kannagi is being worshipped as the most virtuous woman. Even when you go to the city of Chennai, on the seashore, on the Marina Beach, you could see a statue of Kannagi holding one of her anklets in one of her hands. Now, the question here is, what kind of link we can create? What are the events taking place? Who knows what could happen at what time? Having born in the richest and wealthiest family, Kovalan becomes zero in finance. Kannagi, having born to a wealthiest businessman, loses all the property through her husband. They were equal to nobles. They were equal to many kings. They had wealth at their disposal where they were able to buy many kingdoms. What curse Kovalan was carrying for getting beheaded? What curse Kannagi was carrying for becoming a widow? What curse Kovalan's father was carrying to lose his son, the wealthiest son, at the very young age? What curse the father-in-law of Kovalan and mother-in-law of Kovalan was carrying to lose their daughter as well as son-in-law, as well as the wealth? What curse the Nedunjaliyan I, the Madurai king who was ruling around 230 BC, was carrying to die on the spot along with his wife? What curse the queen, wife of Nedunjaliyan I, Madurai Pandya king, was carrying? How to link what kind of crimes we commit, whether we commit such crimes knowingly or unknowingly, what judgment we can do about anything. What is there in store for the next minute? How we will know? Are we able to know whether the life itself is a secret, whether we will be able to judge our time, or whether we will be able to judge our future time? What will be the consequence for the next minute? Whether being a good person will assure good kind of death, or by being a bad person will it bring bad to us? How do we judge? How do we take it? How do we judge anything? Keep these things in your mind. Think over. That is the reason, knowingly or unknowingly, we do mistakes. Knowingly, unknowingly, we do crimes. Knowingly or unknowingly, we invite the wrath of someone's curse. In order to come out of such curse or curses only, the Kamokashit Japa is introduced by us, which was given as a gift to us by the rishis of the yore. Let us continue to purify ourselves from all such mistakes, all such crimes, all such injustice, all such known or unknown defects, whatever we have accumulated, known or unknown, let us consciously shed them. Those members who are participating in Samyama can transform their life from utter darkness to enlightenment. According to your participation, according to your will, according to your wish, and according to your dedication, and according to your trust. So, imbibing the essence of these incidents, we shall involve ourselves in today's Samyama. Let us do Dhyana, Dharana, and get into Samadhi, keeping both of them in both your eyes. Divide your inner eyes into two parts and simultaneously do the contemplation on Kovalan and Kannagi. Let us see how we gain today's spiritual experience, to what extent. Om Sadguru Babaji Namaha. Om Sadguru Babaji Namaha. Om Sadguru Babaji Namaha.